Slacker by Korman. Chapter 2. Pavel Dyson. Technically, Cam hadn't chosen me yet as his rule-the-world partner, but it was coming any day now. For starters, I was tops in the entire 8th grade in academic average. Oh sure, school smarts didn't necessarily translate into video gaming skills, but problem solving was a big part of it, and also logic and quick thinking. What more could anybody ask for in a wingman? I wasn't so much that I was better than Chuck, just more level-headed. I could play myself out of any tight spot. When Chuck got himself backed into a corner, he'd panic and do something crazy. 9 times out of 10, he'd get himself killed and we'd lose a life, or spend health points, or waste time waiting for him to respawn. That wasn't the kind of guy you'd want as your partner in a real competition. Mind you, every now and then, by sheer random chance, Chuck would go nuts on his controller and wipe out the enemy single-handed. If Cam was thinking about one of those times, he might get it in his head to pick Chuck over me. I'd be happy for him, and I'd still cheer for them at Rule the World, but I'd be wasting my time because they'd definitely lose. And now there was this other problem. Technically, you couldn't blame Mr. and Mrs. Boxer for being ticked off. Cam could have burned their whole house down, and himself would it. As it was, every room smelled like a lao gone out of control, and the kitchen cabinets and ceiling were all black. But banning Cam from games was like telling Bill Gates to give up on computers and count his fingers. There'd be no rule the world for any of us. Regardless of whether the partner ended up being me or Chuck, there was never any question that the main guy was always Cam. "What are you going to do?" I asked him the day after the Great Zitty Inferno. He shrugged, dangling a long gummy worm and directing it into his upturned mouth. "My parents say I have to get involved, show initiative, whatever that's supposed to mean." I provide the definition. Initiative is the drive or ambition to get something done. Chuck looked worried. "We're dead. No one has less of that than Cam." "I have initiative," Cam defended himself. "It takes a lot of work to do as little as I've done for the past 13 years. The 3 of us were in our usual after-school haunt, Sweetness and Light, the only candy store left in Sycamore, now that everything had moved out to the new mall. Cam was positive that the gummy worms were kind of a brain food that made you sharper at video games. The science behind that was technically zero. "You can kiss that $10,000 goodbye," Chuck pronounced darkly. "Not necessarily," I countered. "Cam's folk want him to get involved, so all he has to do is to join something." Cam flinched, and a gummy worm bounced off his cheek and hit the floor of the little shop. "I thought of that," he admitted. "The problem is, when you join something, they expect you to do it." He shuddered. "Participate. Man, I hate that word." "Yeah," I challenged, "but if it's the only way to rule the world..." "You don't understand," he persisted. "Let's say I joined the soccer team. I'd have to practice every day and go to games on the weekend. Or drama. They're always rehearsing and performing. Even the chess club. Can you see me waiting 20 minutes for some guy to make a move? None of that stuff fits into my lifestyle." "I'm in the chess club," I reminded him. "School champion, 2 years running." Chuck was in true pain. "You can't just give up." "Listen," said Cam. "Some people knock themselves out for straight A's." "I get straight A's," I protested. "Yeah, but it's normal for you to get straight A's, just like it's normal for me to just squeak by. Some people play sports or jump out of those airplanes or climb mountains. I could do those things, but it wouldn't be me. It would be some guy who cares about that stuff." I took a bite of a gummy worm, but the candy turned to acid in my mouth. Take it from a guy who actually understood the chemical process behind that. A lot of words had been used to describe Cameron Boxer over the years. Goof off, loafer, shiftless, slouch, lazy blob of protoplasm. Those all said it pretty well, but he was more than that, too. What people couldn't see was that there was something special about Cam. Yes, he was a slacker, but Cam was a slacker the way LeBron James was a basketball player. Through a mixture of rare natural gift and intense practice, I spun my stool around and peered through the plate glass window of the shop. Main Street was normally quiet since the Sycamore Mall had opened, but now the road was clogged with high school kids soaking wet and covered in what looked like soap suds. "What's going on out there?" I asked Miss Batman, who owned Sweetness and Light. The storekeeper followed my gaze, scowling. "Those friends of Fuzzy, washing cars they are." Secretly, we referred to Miss B as Miss Backward, because that's how she says everything, as in, "Gummy worms you boys want?" I was surprised. She was so down on the Friends of Fuzzy, who were really famous in our town for doing good things like fundraising and charity work. They operated out of Sycamore High. The name came from the high school's mascot, Farley J. Peach Fuzz. Foam spattered teenagers moved around the passing vehicles, dancing and trying to wave drivers onto the shoulder. Where even foamier kids waited with sponges and buckets. A large banner was strung between the two light poles. First annual car wash for Spleen Health, Clean Car, Healthy Spleen. Well, I didn't know the difference between a healthy spleen and an unhealthy one. I made a mental note to Google it, though. But it sure didn't seem like the kind of thing anyone could be against. Chuck thought so, too. "What's wrong with the Friends of Fuzzy? Everyone likes the things they do." "Blocking traffic, those kids," Miss B said disapprovingly. "An honest living I'm trying to earn." "It's for a good cause, I think," he offered. She snorted. "Ruining people's livelihoods, such as a good cause? Some advice I'll give you. Don't get involved." All at once, Cam snapped into attention. I'd seen that expression on his face before, when he found the cheat code on this shady Korean website that got us a free combat prestige upgrade, but nothing like that was happening now. Then it came to me. Miss B had just said the magic word. Involved. Chuck didn't pick up on it. "Oh, we're not allowed in the Friends of Fuzzy?" He told the storekeeper. "It's just for high school. We're in 8th grade." "But what if someone started something like the Friends of Fuzzy at our school?" Cam asked. I regarded him warily. "Like who?" "Like me." Chuck was completely baffled. "What are you talking about?" I thought I knew, but surely I had it wrong. Miss B sounded suspicious. "The street you won't be blocking?" Cam laughed. "I guarantee you got nothing to worry about." I had a sinking feeling that the head worry was about to be me. Computers were another one of my talents. I'd first hacked into the school's website before lunch on day 1 of 6th grade. Cam peered over my shoulder. "Open up a new page under school clubs." We'd gone straight from Sweetness and Light to my house, more specifically to the laptop in my basement. "I don't get it," I told him, poised at the keyboard. "If you want to convince your folks you're getting involved, sign up for the film club and sleep in the dark. How could it be easier to start a middle school Friends of Fuzzy?" "I'll join," Chuck offered loyally. "No, you won't," Cam promised, "because this isn't a real club. Don't you get it? We create this splashy webpage about a group of do-gooders and the amazing ways we serve the citizens of Sycamore. We make it sound like, compared to us, the Friends of Fuzzy are all goof-offs who wouldn't give anybody else the skin off a grape. We're dedicated, motivated, community-minded. And here's the most important part. We don't do any of it. We just say we do." Chuck looked dazed. "What's the point of a club that isn't a club?" "When my folks try to ban me from gaming, I'll show them the page. Not only did I join something, I started it. I'm the president." It was a great idea, an inspired idea even. Doing less by pretending to do more. For all my appearance on the honor roll, I could have never come up with a scheme like that. Still, I wouldn't have been a true friend if I didn't let him know that I had my doubts. "What if it doesn't work?" He was dumbfounded. "How could it not work?" "Well, first of all, your parents might not believe it," I began. "Why won't they believe it? It's on the school website. Why would the school lie?" I chose my words carefully. "Your folks might think it's a little too good to be true, or that you went from zero to running the show, just like that. Or maybe the school will figure out that it's all a hoax. Then not only you will be in trouble, but the whole thing can be traced to my computer. The school never looks at their website except to post snow days, he countered. And my parents will be so overjoyed I'm getting involved in something besides video games that they'll never question it. They deserve to be happy, considering all their business worries. Who are we to mess with their happiness? He was right about the business worries. Sweetness and Light wasn't the only store in town that was suffering because of the mall. Box's Furniture Showroom was losing a lot of customers to the big new department stores. I sighed. Fine, does this wonderful club have a name? What about Friends of Fuzzy Jr., Chuck suggested. Cam shook his head. If we connect ourselves to them, we might be expected to help out with their stuff. If we have to do anything, the whole point of the club is to keep down the tubes. No, we have to keep it general. How about the Positive Action Group? I typed it out into the webpage. I couldn't explain why, but it looked pretty good up there on the screen. I like it. It stood for everything. When really it meant nothing at all. We might as well have it called it Harry. It's okay, I admitted in a grudging surprise. It's perfect, Chuck added reverently. Ew, Cam agreed. We got to work. Not technically. Something you said very often when we included Cam. It took some doing, but when I pushed my swivel chair back from the computer, the result on the screen was well worth it. Positive Action Group, because helping others is an education itself. Mission statement. The mission of the Positive Action Group is to act positively to help our school and our community. We pledge to be positive and never negative, because negative actions are worse than no actions at all. We look forward to a fantastic year of helping. Meet Cameron Boxer, PAG, President. Cam is an 8th grader at Sycamore Middle School. He got the idea for the Positive Action Group when he noticed that all the other clubs were about games or sports or activities, but none were about helping, and so the PAG was born. Click here to contact Cam. It was awesome, except for that last part, Cam told me. I don't want anybody contacting me. I'm doing this so I can be left alone. That's the beauty of it, I said smugly. I clicked the mouse, and instantly another page appeared on the top of the first one. Website under construction. The PAG asks for your patience as we think of an even more kind and unselfish ways to help out. We will be back up and running before you know it. Wow, Cam said with raised eyebrows. I glowed. There's something about pleasing Cam. He was the kind of guy you wanted to impress, even though you knew that the feeling wasn't mutual. Cam didn't try to impress. That didn't make him a bad friend. It was just that impressing people didn't fit into his lifestyle, and, of course, that lifestyle was what made him Cam. The people who looked down on Cam were technically missing the point. He wasn't just a slacker. He was the Leonardo da Vinci of slackers, and the Positive Action Group might turn out to be his Mona Lisa.